Rachel stood before the mirror, tilting her head slightly to the left, adjusting her expression until it was just right, the perfect balance of warmth and regret. Not too cold, she didn't want to seem heartless. But not too soft either. That would only undermine the purpose. Cameron, I just feel like we've grown apart. I hope we can still be friends. Measured. Controlled. Perfect. She knew Cameron well enough to predict his reaction. First, stunned silence. Then a furrow of his brow, brief but telling. A sharp nod as he tried to maintain his composure. He'd ask for time to process, and she would grant it with gracious understanding, leaving him with just enough hope to keep him lingering. A final text exchange a week later. Maybe coffee in a month. Just enough to make sure he never fully let go. Rachel had mastered the art of departure. Satisfied, she turned from the mirror and checked the time. He was supposed to come over in an hour. Just enough time for a glass of wine and one last rehearsal. Her phone buzzed on the vanity. At first, she ignored it, assuming it was one of her friends eager to hear how the plan was unfolding. But something in her gut nudged her, an unease she couldn't quite place. She reached for the phone, her eyes scanning the message. Your request for early lease termination has been processed. Please confirm your move-out date. Rachel's stomach twisted. Move-out date? She hadn't made any such request. Her fingers moved swiftly, pulling up her text messages, scrolling to Cameron's name, but it wasn't there. Not in her recent conversations. Not even when she searched for it. A slow, creeping sense of unease crawled up her spine. She checked her call log. Nothing. It was as if his name had never existed in her phone. Her pulse quickened as she manually typed his number. The call didn't go through. Number disconnected. A short laugh of disbelief escaped her lips. This had to be a mistake. Cameron wouldn't just vanish. Brows knitting together, she opened Instagram. She wasn't intending to stalk him, just checking. A harmless glance, nothing more. But instead of his profile, she was met with a stark message. User not found. Her breath hitched. Facebook, Twitter, even LinkedIn. The results were the same. Nothing. Rachel's fingers trembled as she unlocked her laptop and pulled up their shared cloud drive. Last night, it had been there, a folder labeled us, filled with years of photos, vacations, and memories. Now, gone. The realization struck like a physical blow. He hadn't just blocked her. He had erased her. The man she had meticulously planned to leave behind on her terms had disappeared before she even got the chance. For the first time in her life, Rachel Monroe wasn't in control. And the silence he left behind was deafening. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears as she stood frozen in the middle of her apartment. Phone clutched so tightly her fingers ached. This wasn't how things were supposed to go. She decided when things ended. She dictated how, when, and what came after. Not the other way around. Rachel prided herself on understanding people, reading their moves before they even knew what they wanted. Cameron had never been an exception. Steady, reliable, predictable. The kind of man who would never just leave without a word. Except he had. She forced herself to sit, gripping the arm of the couch to steady herself. Think. There had to be an explanation. A loophole. Maybe his phone was off. Maybe there was some glitch. But deep down she knew. This wasn't an accident. Cameron hadn't left breadcrumbs. He had wiped the entire trail clean. Her first instinct was to check his apartment. He couldn't have moved overnight, not without leaving something behind. If he thought he could just disappear, he was sorely mistaken. She grabbed her keys and stormed out, her heels striking the floor with purpose. The drive to his place felt longer than usual, every red light dragging out the inevitable. She didn't realize how tightly she had been gripping the steering wheel until her knuckles ached. When she finally pulled up to his building, her stomach sank. His parking spot was empty. Rachel sat there for a long moment, fingers gripping the gear shift, willing herself to wake up from what felt like an elaborate trick. Any second now, Cameron would step out of the building, coffee in hand, smirking at her overreaction like he always did when she was being too much. But the door never opened. No one came out. Her pulse quickened as she stepped out of the car, striding toward the entrance. Without hesitation, she pressed his unit number on the buzzer. Once. Twice. A third time. No answer. A sick feeling coiled in her stomach. She wasn't used to this, waiting. Being the one left wondering. Her frustration mounted with every passing second. Then an idea. Kara, the leasing manager. Rachel didn't waste a moment. She pulled out her phone and dialed. Kara, hi, it's Rachel Monroe. She forced steadiness into her voice. Listen, I've been trying to reach Cameron, but I can't seem to get a hold of him. Have you seen him today? There was a pause. Oh, Rachel, Kara's voice softened. Careful. Hesitant. Rachel's grip on her phone tightened. Knew what? He moved out yesterday. Cleaned out the apartment. I handled the final walkthrough myself. The words barely registered. Moved out. Her mouth opened, then closed. She tried again. That's not possible. He didn't say anything about moving. Kara hesitated. I figured you two had, talked about it. Rachel's stomach twisted again, this time with something sharp and unfamiliar. Panic. Where did he go? I don't know. Another pause. He didn't leave a forwarding address. The world around her went still. No forwarding address. No explanation. No lingering presence for her to hold on to. Cameron had done what she had always believed only she was capable of. He had made himself untouchable. Rachel's breath came in short, uneven bursts as she turned back toward her car. Her hands trembled, but she forced them to stay steady as she pulled out her phone again. If he wasn't answering calls, if he wasn't online, if he wasn't even here anymore, there was only one thing left to do. She scrolled through her contacts, found the name she needed, and hit call. The line rang twice before a voice answered. Hey, Rachel. Ben. Cameron's best friend. Her way in. She forced a casualness into her tone, even though her pulse pounded. Ben, how have you been? A slight pause. He wasn't fooled. Can't complain. What's up? She didn't bother with pretense. It's Cameron. I can't get in touch with him. His number's disconnected, his apartment is empty, and I just found out he moved without telling me. If anyone knows what's going on, it's you. Silence. Her grip on the phone tightened. Ben. A sigh. Then finally he spoke. Look, Rachel. I don't think I should be in the middle of this. Her stomach twisted at his tone. Like this was something she had no say in anymore. Like Cameron had already told him everything. I just need to know where he is. Her voice came out smaller than she wanted. I don't care about the details. I need to talk to him. Ben's next words landed like a punch to the gut. You had your chance to talk. His voice was sharper now. Final. And I think he made it pretty clear. He's not interested. Rachel sat there, the words echoing in her head, realization dawning cold and unrelenting. Cameron had planned this. Every detail. And worst of all, he had told people. Rachel Monroe had spent her life controlling how things ended. But this time, the choice hadn't been hers. Rachel's jaw tightened, her grip on the phone like a vice. So that was it. Cameron had vanished, and she was just supposed to accept it? A dry chuckle came from Ben's end of the line. Funny, he mused. That's exactly how Cameron described the way you wanted things to go. Only difference is, he didn't stick around for the performance. The word struck like a slap. The carefully rehearsed breakup, the perfectly measured tone, the slow unraveling she had planned to maintain control. It was all meaningless now. Cameron had flipped the script before she even had a chance to read her lines. No closure. No final conversation. No power over how it ended. He had left first. Ben's voice softened, as if he almost pitied her. Rachel, just let it go. She ended the call without another word, lowering the phone to her lap. Her fingers trembled, but her mind was already sharpening, recalibrating. Cameron thought silence was the final move, that by disappearing, he had won. But Rachel Monroe did not accept defeat. She stared at the darkened screen of her phone, her own reflection staring back. Let it go. The words echoed in her mind, taunting her. She had never been the one left behind. People didn't walk away from her. She decided when things ended, how they ended, and what came after. And yet, here she was, stranded in the aftermath of a breakup that never even happened, abandoned before she could deliver her carefully curated farewell. No. Her fingers moved quickly as she scrolled through her contacts. If Cameron wouldn't answer, someone else would. Nicole. Rachel didn't particularly like Cameron's sister, but she had always been polite to her at family gatherings. More importantly, Nicole had a fatal flaw. She loved to talk. She hit dial. Nicole picked up on the second ring. Wow, Rachel. Wasn't expecting to hear from you. Rachel forced a light laugh. I know, it's been a while. I was just thinking about Cam and realized I haven't heard from him. I tried calling, but well, I'm sure you know by now. A pause. Rachel could hear the subtle shift in Nicole's breathing. I'm guessing Ben already gave you the speech. So they had all talked about this. Planned it. You mean the part where I'm supposed to let it go and move on? Rachel kept her tone breezy, as if the idea was amusing rather than infuriating. Yeah, got that memo loud and clear. But honestly, Nicole, doesn't this all seem a little dramatic to you? Nicole scoffed. Dramatic? Rachel, you planned your breakup like a TED Talk. Cameron just beat you to it. Rachel swallowed back the sharp retort rising in her throat. She needed Nicole talking, not shutting down. I just don't understand, she said, letting a note of frustration slip into her voice. I know we weren't perfect, but disappearing? That's extreme. Maybe he finally learned from you. Rachel's nails dug into her palm. Nicole sighed. Look, Cameron's doing fine. He's moved on. You should too. Rachel latched onto one word instantly. Moved. Not just emotionally. Physically. Nicole didn't realize it, but she had just given Rachel exactly what she needed. There was another pause, just long enough to confirm her suspicion. I have to go, Nicole said abruptly. Rachel didn't argue. She had what she came for. She hung up and sat in her car, gripping the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. Moved. Cameron hadn't simply vanished, he had gone somewhere. And if there was a destination, there was a way to find him. For the next few hours, she scoured every possible lead. His workplace? Resigned. Their mutual friends? Either clueless or rehearsing the same tired line. Rachel, just let it go. She was done hearing that. Then, finally, she thought of one last place to check. His bank. They had briefly shared expenses at one point, and Rachel still had access to some of their old joint transactions. She pulled up the online records, scrolling past months of mundane charges, groceries, gas, the occasional dinner, until her pulse spiked at something recent. A hotel. Not far. Just outside the city. He hadn't left the state. He was just hiding. Rachel felt something sharp coil inside her. This wasn't just about Cameron leaving, it was about control. He had taken her game, flipped the board, and ended it before she even had a chance to make a move. He thought silence was power. Thought that by leaving first, he had won. He was wrong. She drove there without hesitation. The hotel was quiet, tucked away from the main roads, the kind of place people went when they didn't want to be found. Rachel parked, her heart hammering as she stepped inside. The lobby was dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of freshly brewed coffee. Her heels clicked against the polished floor, the sound sharp, deliberate. Then she saw him. Cameron sat in the corner of the hotel cafe, sipping black coffee, his posture relaxed. Unbothered. The sight of it infuriated her. Rachel stepped forward, ensuring each footfall echoed against the floor. He finally looked up, and their eyes met. No shock. Just mild amusement. As if he had expected her. He set his cup down. Rachel. His voice was calm, almost entertained. Took you longer than I thought. Her jaw clenched. So this was the plan? To erase yourself from my life without a word. Cameron leaned back in his chair, studying her. You mean the way you were planning to do to me? Rachel's stomach twisted. You wanted to be the one in control, he continued. To leave me hanging, waiting for closure that would never come. But I saw it coming, Rachel. I saw you coming. Her breath turned shallow, chest rising and falling too quickly. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Cameron smiled. Exactly. Rachel opened her mouth, but no words came. He had taken everything she had planned and ended it before it even started. For the first time, Rachel Monroe was truly powerless. Cameron stood, tossed some cash on the table, and walked away, leaving her exactly as she had once intended to leave him, with nothing but silence.